All right. Good morning and welcome to the August 5th, 2026 State Building Code Council public hearing for the Building Code adoption and amendments. Before we get started, I want to give a quick overview of how the hearing will work. The State Building Code Council is holding a public hearing for proposed rulemaking related to the 2024 code adoption cycle. This hearing is specific to changes to WAC 5111C, the Washington State Energy Code commercial provisions, and WAC 5111R, the Washington State Energy Code residential provisions. WAC is shorthand for the Washington Administrative Code, which is the legal authority where state rules are codified. The proposed changes are posted on the rulemaking page, 2024 code adoption cycle of the SBCC website. The purpose of the rulemaking hearing and comment period is to provide the public with an opportunity to comment on the proposed changes to the WAC language. This is your opportunity to let the SBCC know your thoughts on the specific changes. You can do so by testifying and/or submitting written comments. Please submit any written comments to sbcc@des.wa.gov. Registrants for today have been grouped according to the code they wished to provide testimony for. When we get to the part of the hearing, we'll call your name and then allow you to unmute. And if you're in person, we'll ask you to approach the table at the front of the hearing room. Please remember to state your name for the record. In order to ensure that everyone has had a chance to make comments in a timely manner, please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. I will let you know when you have a minute remaining. Also, I'll let you know when your 3 minutes have elapsed and to finish your testimony. Remember, you can also submit your comments in writing, either via email or postal mail. Just as a reminder, this hearing is for specific proposed rule changes. If you have other comments for issues that aren't specific to those proposed changes, please provide those to the staff separately. As we do with all hearings, this audio is recorded. And I'll turn it over to Todd, our hearing officer.
Okay. Thank you, Dustin. Welcome. My name is Todd Byruther. I'm the chair of the State Building Code Council. I will be the SBCC's designated hearing officer today and will be conducting this hearing. I now call to order this hearing regarding WAC 51-11C, adoption and amendment of the 2024 Washington State Energy Code commercial provisions, and WAC 5111R, adoption and amendment of the 2024 Washington State Energy Code residential provisions. I'd like to advise everyone that this hearing is being recorded and the audio file will be part of the official rulemaking file. For the record, this hearing is being held on August 5th, 2026, beginning at 10 a.m. in person in Olympia and via Zoom with teleconference options. The purpose of this hearing is to receive public comments on adoption and amendments to WAC 5111C, the 2024 Washington State Energy Code Commercial, and WAC 5111R, the 2024 Washington State Energy Code Residential. This hearing is being conducted in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, RCW 42.30, and the Administrative Procedures Act, RCW 34.05. Legal notice of this hearing was filed with the Washington State Code Revisor on June 30th, 2026. The Washington State Registered Number for WAC 51-11C is WSR 26-14-100. Washington State Register for WAC 51-11R is WSR 26-14-101. Notice of this hearing was also posted on the SBCC website at sbcc.wa.gov. This hearing is being held to consider testimony on the proposed rules. For the 2024 Washington State Energy Code Commercial, the Council received 63 proposals. The Technical Advisory Group recommended approval of 53 proposals as submitted or as modified. For the 2024 Washington State Energy Code Residential, the Council received 32 proposals. The Technical Advisory Group recommended approval of 25 proposals as submitted or as modified. The Council recommended filing these proposed rules to allow input through the public hearing process. We will now hear oral testimony regarding the proposed changes. For the record, please identify yourself and if you represent a group. Please speak clearly so we can get a good recording of your testimony. In order to ensure that everyone has a chance to make comments in a timely manner, please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Alrighty, we're going to begin the roll call for testimony. I'll have a timer on screen. And if we call your name, your time will start when you get to the table in the front of the room. First up, we have Patrick Hanks. And I don't see him in the room raising, getting up, and I don't see him on our guest list. I'll mark him as yellow for now, and we will get back to him if he shows up. Next on the list, Tom Young.
Okay, I'm present. I don't have any comments at this time.
Okay. Next on our list, Lowell Gladowski.
I actually think that's a different Tom Young.
Probably. Wasn't sure on that one. Um, is there a Lowell Gladowski in person?
He is outside. He's on his way in.
Okay, when he makes it in, he's more than welcome to, I'll call his name if I see somebody come in, but we'll come back to these yellow names as we get through there.
So
Next
turn
up,
Tom
oh,
Young yellow also, please.
okay, gotcha. Next on our list for online, David Reddy. And if you can raise your hand as I call your name. Gotcha there. David, when you're ready, I will start the timer.
Yeah, my name is David Reddy. Speaking on behalf of myself, I in testifying in support of some changes to C 402.1.2.3 that you should see in a formal written letter. The recommended change is um, to revise uh, the window to wall ratio requirement. I'm sorry, this one is in response to mechanical penetrations in walls. And I recommending I support the change to make this item include an exception that would allow more cost-effective heat pump technology, such as package terminal heat pumps, without penalizing them on the overall envelope requirements. Uh, so that's my statement on that one.
Righty. Next up, David Reddy.
Yeah, this one is in support of a formal letter you should see on revising the requirements in renewable energy. I think it addresses a number of um, uh, problems with the final proposed language, and it includes some flexibility that should actually encourage better design of solar systems and even reduce costs in some areas that do have good solar potential. So I am supportive of that change that you should see formal written comment on.
All right. Next one, David Reddy.
And the last one, this one is related to some recommended changes on the requirements for triple pane glazing. I support, again, you'll see a formal written letter recommending that this change remove the requirement for triple pane glazing for buildings that have less than 30% glazing area. I think this is a good change that will encourage more moderate glazing areas in buildings, which will reduce energy use. And at the same time preserve for higher glazed buildings that the intent here on this energy savings of triple pane glazing. So that's all.
All right, thank you for your testimony, David. I do see Tom Young has his hand up in the audience. So, Tom, when you're ready, I'll start the timer.
Can you hear me now, sir?
Yeah, you're a little bit quiet, so speak up just a little
All
bit.
right. Yeah, I wasn't given the unmute option there for the beginning, but I'll go now if you can hear me. So I'm Tom Young. I'm the other one, not the council member. I'm the past director of the Concrete Masonry Association and have worked on building code development for over 40 years. I want to provide comments today regarding code change proposal 264, which I strongly oppose. It would eliminate the use of single-wide concrete masonry walls in commercial buildings, primarily retail, educational, and warehouse uses, which are actually performing the best. From a historical perspective, there have been masonry wall provisions in the state energy code since the 80s. They were developed working with the council based upon research demonstrating the need for these code amendments to address the unique character of Washington state. The current provision has been in place for at least the last 5 cycles. In each of the last 5 cycles, the city of Seattle has supported deletion of this state amendment. This issue has been fully vetted by previous councils and proposed change has been disapproved all 5 times. No new substantive information has been provided this time. I will address 3 primary problems with the proposed amendment. The proponent makes the statement that CMU walls lose 4 times the heat allowed in codes with lower U factor requirements. However, steady state laboratory U factors do not accurately predict heat flow or energy savings through the exterior mass walls of commercial buildings. In the real world, buildings are exposed to dynamic climate, variable interior conditions. Nothing is static. This is where thermal mass performs best. The costs presented to add materials to the interior of a masonry wall are grossly underestimated. In addition, the system is suggested that it does not work for commercial construction and 30-foot tall walls. It's interesting that despite using the low construction cost information provided, the state's economic impact analysis concludes that the life cycle cost saving of this code change proposal is negative. Therefore, it is not cost effective. I also wanted to talk about the lack of energy usage data provided. Comments are offered on how energy modeling work should be performed, and yet none is provided. A reference is made to an old 2012 study, which has been discussed previously and is not relevant to the proposal. Recent energy modeling of a high school gym has shown masonry walls do well. The annual energy cost of integral insulated walls is actually less than the interior insulated wall alternative with a better U factor. This contradicts what the code proponent would lead you to believe. Please take the time to read all the extensive information provided to support maintenance of the current code provision. The burden of proof should rest with the party trying to change the code, not those seeking to maintain what has been repeatedly approved. This proposal falls short. It is a recycled code change proposal filled with inaccurate information and should be defeated. I ask you to do what the past 5 building code councils have done and disapprove code change proposal 264. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Tom. Is Loa Gladowski in the room yet?
Yes.
If you'd like to approach the bench, I will start the timer when you're ready.
All right, action. Good morning, Chair, members of the council. Before I begin, I'd like to thank each of you for your service. I appreciate the time, expertise dedicated to protecting the safety and the well-being of people of Washington. My name is Lowell Gladowski. I'm the president of the Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers, Local 1, Washington, Alaska. Before serving in this role, I spent nearly 3 decades in the masonry industry as a bricklayer, foreman, superintendent, contractor, and apprentice training coordinator. Approximately 65% of my career was spent building these single-wide masonry walls that Tom just talked about. I didn't just build these walls. I didn't just study these walls, I built them. I built these wall systems on schools, multifamily housing, commercial building, hospitals, and public facilities throughout Washington. Hillside Elementary School on Joint Base Lewis McChord, picture that I'm holding up, is just one of the many projects I've had the privilege to help build. I've supervised these projects, trained apprentices to build them correctly, and seen firsthand how these systems perform when they're properly engineered and constructed. I respectfully ask the council to reject proposals 24, GP1, 264R, and 256. Our members support safe buildings. We build by the code every day. We support changes that are based on sound engineering and proven building science. My concern is that these proposals would effectively eliminate a long-standing code-compliant masonry wall system while increasing requirements that makes masonry less competitive. Together, they reduce the ability of the architect and the engineer to choose masonry as a building system, even when it meets Washington's high standards. As we meet today, wildfires continue to impact Spokane and the communities around Eastern Washington. It's a reminder that our building codes should promote not only energy efficiency, but also resilience. Masonry has long provided both durability and exceptional fire resistance. These proposals also affect people. Every masonry project creates family wage jobs and provides apprentices with hands-on experience they need to become a journey level craft worker. When masonry becomes more difficult or more expensive to build, those opportunities decline for workers, contractors, manufacturers, and suppliers across our state. Throughout my career, I've embraced strong seismic standards, better engineering, and safe construction practices. Our industry has never resisted progress. We simply ask the code changes continue to be based on the sound engineering and demonstrated performance while preserving the flexibility for designers to choose proven code-compliant masonry systems. For these reasons, I respectfully ask that you reject Proposal 24 GP1 264R and 256. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Lowell, I had you down for 2 slots for the 2 different proposals. You are done with your testimony?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, I have Deepa Sivarajan. And I see your hand. And when you're ready, Deepa.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Thank you so much for the opportunity to testify. I'm Deepa Sivarajan. I am the local policy director at Climate Solutions, a nonprofit in the Pacific Northwest working to accelerate clean energy solutions to the climate crisis. You'll be hearing from me several times today on different proposals. I was a member of the residential code tag and an alternate for the commercial tag, and I'm very happy to see these codes moving forward. I'm also currently wearing an N95 mask while inside my own house because of the wildfire smoke that has spread to Western Washington as a direct result of climate change, which harms my health as a chronically ill person. I can only imagine how our neighbors in Central and Eastern Washington are coping with displacement, losing their homes, particularly neighbors who are disabled like me. This is one of the many reasons why Climate Solutions supports Proposal 209 to strongly encourage the replacement of small rooftop air conditioners with heat pumps when they fail. Given these hotter and smokier summers we're experiencing in Washington, we know that more and more Washingtons are living in buildings with air conditioning. Replacing air conditioners with heat pumps is the least costly and wasteful way to make a necessary transition to clean energy, since sizing heat pumps to cooling capacity and using the same electrical infrastructure of the air conditioner lowers costs, while still giving residents access to the high efficiency of the heat pump during the winter as well. Please pass Proposal 209. Thanks.
Thank you. Next up, I have Steve Belzak for in person. And Steve, I broke out these ones for 264 and 256 into 2 lines. If you want 6 minutes, I'm prepared to let you have 6 minutes.
That's great, Dustin. I think I can do it all under one proposal.
Okay. When you're ready.
Sure. Okay, again, my name is Steve Belzak. I'm the executive director of the Northwest Concrete and Masonry Association. We represent at least 6 producer agencies that are located throughout the Pacific Northwest. Now, the question is, why are we here? We're opposed to Energy Code Proposals 264 and 256. The question is, why? Because they essentially outlaw what we consider to be durable, cost-effective, and efficient single-wide masonry. I don't know if you can see a prop. I have a picture of a single-wide wall here. And essentially, what that means is it's just one layer, one thickness of CMU wall, basically around 8 inches in thickness, and then mortared together and stacked on top of it, more blocks being stacked on top. It's very efficient, very thin, very durable, both sides of the wall, durable finish. The inside, which consists of open cores, gets a treatment of foam insulation. Typically, it's poured into the core. So you get an insulated, very durable, very reasonably thin wall. And that's what we're trying to preserve. The thing about masonry walls in general, they're efficient and they provide mass wall benefits. Masonry mass walls do act as a thermal battery. During the day, they absorb heat from the sun or warm indoor air, and at night, they release it as temperatures drop. Natural diurnal, that means day or night, cycles and effects allow them to buffer hot and cold swings and delay thermostat turn-on times and temper peak grid effects. I don't know about everybody else, but I've been getting letters from my electricity provider, asking us to shut down our systems for certain periods of time and offering incentives to do so. We're probably already at the point where we have potential of a brownout situation. And having mass walls in your buildings helps to buffer that quite a bit. The other amazing thing that I didn't know about, I'm relatively new to this industry, but what I didn't recognize is within the last 3 or 4 years, there's been a series of studies done, and it shows that masonry actually sequesters, or technically it's a technical word, or absorbs carbon. which is incredible. And their findings are showing that it can absorb or sequester up to 40% within a couple of years. And the length of the studies are short, so they don't know how much total it will actually sequester. Now, these studies are not coming from masonry sources. I'm going to cite the International Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, as one of the proponents of this. Again, they're sustainable, resilient, wash and wear after floods. They break the cycle of build, burn, and repeat. Thank you for hearing my testimony.
Thank you, Steve. Next up, for in person, I have Dominic Espinosa, and if you would like 6 minutes, I'm prepared to let you have it.
Good morning. I represent Western Washington Masonry Trades. I don't think I'm going to need a full 6 minutes. I'm asking council not to change the current mass masonry wall compliance provisions. I lead an apprenticeship of 150 students that affect the industry, and we just hate to see changes in that parameter. Thank you.
All righty. Next up for online, I have Johnny Kutcher.
Hello, I'm Johnny Kutcher here with Rocky Mountain Institute. I'm here to comment on the commercial ACD heat pump proposal, C209, in section 503. This would impact rooftop units for commercial buildings, and specifically size categories that are pretty popular on small commercial buildings and represent a large amount of the number of units that are installed for rooftop units. This is a very interesting and cost-effective way to save energy, reduce emissions, and reduce utility costs. Rooftop units of this size category that are being discussed tend to be around cost parity with the gas pack units that they would be replacing. So usually a pretty small differential cost. And then with the utility bill savings, typically pays for over its lifetime. California Energy Code put this in its 2025 code, and are currently actually expanding the requirement to in their draft rules that they're currently discussing to include more building types and larger size categories. So I think that this is a good first step towards getting towards like a cost-effective decarbonization solution for existing commercial building HVAC alterations, and would encourage the council to seriously consider approving it when it comes to them this fall. Thank you.
And Johnny, are these C209 and C503, those are related?
They're the same. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, next on the list, I have Jason Hewitt for in person.
Hi there, Chair, members of the Building Code Council. My name is Jason Hewitt, and I'm here to represent the Washington State Association of the UA Plumbers, Pipe Fitters, HVAC Service, Sprinkler Fitters, Gas Distribution, and Pipeline. Let me begin by saying we are not opposed to the energy efficiency, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, or investing in both cleaner and more innovative energy technologies. We are concerned, however, that several of the energy codes changes proposed by the council move beyond encouraging energy efficiency to direct which energy technologies buildings can use. That is a much broader public policy decision than updating the current energy codes. Washington State continues to limit energy choices in buildings, transportation industry. While our population continues to grow, we have to ask ourselves the fundamental question: is Washington moving towards significantly greater dependence on electricity faster than we can build the generation, transmission, distribution, and storage infrastructure necessary to reliably meet those electricity demands at affordable and sustainable rates? There are other energy technologies currently available that would help diversify the state's energy portfolio, but Washington is not utilizing it. Projects that could strengthen our electric grid, such as battery energy storage systems, often face lengthy permitting processes and growing public opposition. It's critical we're mindful of these realities before assuming the necessary infrastructure will always be available. Furthermore, it's troubling that multiple proposals heavily favor one technology over another, as opposed to allowing for pragmatic energy choice. Codes that essentially mandate heat pumps during equipment replacements, assign penalties for retaining efficient natural gas systems, and require electric readiness for equipment may never be electrified, all increase construction costs without consistently producing measurable energy efficiency benefits. The economic analyses supporting these proposals warrant closer review. In several cases, the projected payback periods extend decades into the future, far beyond the length of time most families own a home or businesses occupy a building. While 50-year life cycle analysis might be appropriate for evaluating building systems long term, they do not reflect the financial realities faced by homeowners and business owners making investment decisions today. None of us can say with certainty what energy sources, fuels, or thermal technologies will be available moving forward. Let's continue improving efficiency, reducing emissions, and investing in innovation while preserving energy diversity, maintaining reliability and affordability, and ensuring our building codes remain performance-based rather than technology prescriptive. I respectfully encourage the council to consider the broader picture and preserve technology neutrality. Thank you.
All right, next up, I have for online Tim Davis.
Thank you for the opportunity to comment on the Washington State Energy Code. My name is Tim Davis. I'm testifying specifically on the behalf of Elevate, a nonprofit that works towards everyone having clean and affordable heat, water, and power in their homes and communities. We implement building retrofits of low-income rental housing. I have been involved in the building and housing industry for over 50 years. Working in affordable housing programs for the past 18 years, I have assessed over 2,000 homes and apartments in that time. I have reviewed the proposals moved forward by the technical advisory group and the committee. My concern is with the mechanical equipment penetrations, modified section C402.1.2.3. As currently proposed, this code could possibly eliminate PTHPs for retrofits and therefore greatly impact advancing heat pump installations in multifamily affordable housing. Consequently, Elevate recommends modifications to this section. For example, in a typical apartment building structure, installing heat pumps, specifically packaged terminal heat pumps or PTHPs, the wall penetration is nearly 5 square feet. In a typical building of interior apartment, not a corner or end unit, and in buildings with interior hallways, these will have one exterior wall. In a building comprised of a majority of these types of units, the percentage of the total area through penetrations for mechanical equipment would far exceed 1% of the total above grade wall area. Consideration should be made to increase the percentage to 3 or 4% if you are to include energy efficient heating, cooling, and air filtration systems, such as ductless heat pumps or PTHPs as penetrations. Consideration can also be made for an exception that recognizes high performance through wall air-to-air heat pumps, including PTHPs, that utilize variable speed compressors and can provide heat down to low ambient air temperatures, preserving flexibility for efficient and cost-effective space heating and cooling equipment. Elevate recommends these amendments to the mechanical equipment penetrations modified section C402.1.2.3 as they consider the typical building types in the efforts to improve and preserve existing affordable low-income housing that is both energy efficient and resilient and not cost prohibitive for developers and owners, whether they are constructing new buildings or renovating existing buildings.
40 seconds.
Thank you, Chair and members of the Washington State Building Code Council for your leadership and dedication to this process. Thank you.
All right, next up we have Deepa Sirashan.
Thank you. I don't think I need 3 minutes for each of the next three, but I'll just state them.
Okay.
Yeah. So firstly, proposal 263 of Deepa Sirashan again, sorry, local policy director at Climate Solutions. Climate Solutions supports proposal 263 for electric readiness in new commercial kitchens. Electric readiness is crucial for lowering costs in the transition to new energy. New construction is the most cost-effective time to install the electric infrastructure needed for induction cooking equipment. And given that the buildings we build today will last decades and likely see many different commercial tenants, it is just sensible to ensure that future tenants have the tools they need to transition off fossil fuel-powered cooking, which can harm their health and indoor air quality. This is a smart proposal with relatively low upfront costs compared to its utility in saving retrofit costs down the line. Please pass proposal 263. Next, I have proposal 270. Climate Solutions supports this smart proposal to remove the blanket exceptions allowing for like-to-like replacement of existing service water heating equipment when the original system fails. Again, the most cost-effective time to make the necessary transition to heat pump hot water is when the existing hot water equipment fails. Heat pump hot water systems are highly energy efficient and will save tenants money on their water bills down the line. Please pass proposal 270. And then third is proposal 267. Again, similarly, we support this smart proposal that strongly encourages replacing existing HVAC equipment with high efficiency appliances like heat pumps when the original equipment fails. Replacing appliances at the time they stop working ensures that building owners and tenants are getting the best life out of their appliances and transitioning to clean energy. If the building owner chooses not to install heat pumps, they will have to make other improvements that achieve the same energy efficiency, reducing energy waste overall. Please pass proposal 267. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up for in person, I have CJ Brockway.
Hello.
When you're ready.
All right. I'd like to speak on behalf of the architecture and lighting design community in support of Section C405 integrated draft lighting power density values and in opposition to the proposed 10 to 20% reductions shown in 24 GP1 234. ASHRAE has a subcommittee which is developing appropriate target lighting power densities, and that is driving our integrated draft. The committee's values are formulated in consideration of acceptable illuminance levels, user needs by space type, surface reflectances, dirt depreciation, lighting distribution performance, fixture efficacy trends, and advances in technology. It is a thoughtful and data-driven process. While Washington can and does choose to adopt different values than ASHRAE 90.1, any deviation should be based on analysis of specific space type needs rather than blanket percentage reductions. And one space type that warrants particular attention is airport concourses. SeaTac Airport is currently evaluating lighting upgrades in the B, C, and D concourses as part of a major mechanical and smoke control renovation. The concourses are noticeably underlit. Yes, we can change the bronze ceilings to something white. We can replace the compact fluorescent downlights with LED fixtures. However, we are very, very close to that 0.49 watts per square foot in the integrated draft. And the reduction in this code change proposal is reducing it 20% to 0.4 watts per square foot, which would work against our project's goals of providing appropriate illumination levels while creating a welcoming, low glare, visually comfortable public space. Airport concourses function more like retail environments that simple circulation corridors, and shopping malls receive a higher allowance in the integrated draft at 0.57 watts per square foot. Frankly, many other spaces deserve similar evaluation, whether it's auto shop or a public library. Percentage reductions are a blunt instrument, not a scientific approach. While I support Washington's leadership in energy efficiency, I believe lighting plays a particularly important role in space making and human well-being, and respectfully ask the committee to adopt the 2024 integrated draft lighting power density values and reject the proposed additional change order reductions. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, I have online Amy Carpenter. I don't see your name on our list. If you're in the room, please raise your hand.
So Amy emailed this morning and changed her time to Friday. I'm
Okay.
happy to speak to one of the pieces. I'm further down on the list. So if you want to move on, or I can speak to Amy.
We'll move on, and I'll look for that email if we could forward that to us so that we can get that in there, but I'll just update to the 7th on this one, and we'll move on. So next up in person, I have John Lang.
Yep.
When you're ready.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair and members of the State Building Code Council. My name is John Lang, President of WSEC, Washington Solar Energy Industries Association. A solar and storage industry veteran, more than 20 years, an energy code tag member, and a business owner. I'm here in strong support of WSEC's amendments to Commercial Energy Code Section C411, particularly striking exception 3 and adding exception 4 and 5, which narrows the exemption to less productive roof areas that are either too steep or oriented incorrectly for energy production. Together with the energy production values in table C411.1, these revisions better reflect the proven effectiveness of these roof types for on-site solar energy production. As someone whose company has installed solar systems on a wide range of roof slopes, including many up to 1212 pitch, I can attest that these roofs are often among the most cost-effective and straightforward for solar installation. Steeper slope roofs typically provide excellent drainage and simpler structural attachment, reducing many of the waterproofing and long-term maintenance concerns associated with flat or low slope roofs. Narrowing the exemption to roof areas steeper than 1212 reflects the reality that most roofs up to 1212 can support cost-effective solar installations and should be encouraged for compliance with the on-site renewable energy requirements of C411. This change directly supports Washington's clean energy goals by enabling more commercial buildings to generate renewable energy on site, reducing emissions and resilience on fossil fuels. It also provides architects and developers with greater flexibility to design functional, attractive, and sustainable buildings while still meeting energy code requirements. In summary, narrowing these exceptions is a practical, evidence-based update that will support more cost-effective and widespread adoption of solar energy across Washington's commercial building sector. I urge the council to adopt this change as another step toward a cleaner and more resilient energy future. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, John. I had you down for another slot as well, for the same section, but I had it broken out.
Yeah, thanks, Dustin. I'm prepared to speak to that.
Okay, when you're ready.
The next one is I'm here to support WSEC's proposed changes to C411, the section allowing compliance with on-site renewable energy requirement through either kilowatt hours per square foot per year or per square foot. These changes are practical, forward-thinking, and directly aligned with Washington's legislative directive to increase energy efficiency under RCW by focusing on actual annual energy production rather than installed capacity alone. The WSEC amendments would increase the minimum on-site photovoltaic requirement to 0.75 watts per square foot or an annual production target of 0.875 kilowatt hours per square foot. This dual compliance pathway is a science-based approach that recognizes the diversity of Washington's climate and solar resources. For an example of how this could be utilized, builders east of the Cascade Mountains, where solar resources are stronger, can meet the requirement with less installed capacity while producing the same or greater amount of energy. This allows projects in sunnier regions to comply more efficiently and cost-effectively while still advancing the state's energy goals. In summary, WSEC's proposed changes support the legislative intent of RCW 19.27A.020, and I urge the council to adopt these updates and continue Washington's leadership in clean, resilient building practices. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up online, I have Zach Johnson. And Zach, do you need individual slots for all these?
Not all of them. I think I can do the first three in a 3-minute time period, and then maybe I'll just need like an additional 30 seconds to finish off that fourth one.
Okay. Well, can we keep them broke out by the section, or are these related sections that you can speak about together?
I was prepared to speak to all of them within a short period of time, so let's just lump them all together, and
that sounds good.
I'll do it that way. All right.
All right. When you're ready.
All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Zach Johnson, Senior Policy Lead for the Heating, Air Conditioning, and Refrigeration Distributors International. Hardy represents more than 560 U.S. wholesale distributors of HVACR and water heating equipment. Our members maintain the local Washington equipment inventory and technical support contractors need when equipment fails. Certain provisions proposed will fundamentally change Washington's commercial replacement market by restricting permanent like-for-like installations. This disrupts distributors and contractors' daily service operations while shifting substantial cost, delay, and project risk to building owners who need failed equipment replaced promptly. Therefore, we are opposed. Hardy supports improved commercial efficiency and recognizes heat pumps as an important option. However, our concern is that 3 proposed provisions make federally compliant equipment more costly or difficult to select and can turn routine replacement into a major construction project. First, Section 503.4.4.1 prescribes configurations for certain packaged rooftop replacements. Its failing equipment exception depends on whether equipment is stocked anywhere in Washington, not whether it can be delivered promptly or is compatible with the existing building. Hardy recommends allowing compatible replacement equipment that meets applicable efficiency and system requirements. For the failing equipment exception, availability should be determined by timely delivery to the project and compatibility with the existing system, not just statewide stocking. Second, Section 503.4.7 restricts permanent like-for-like heating equipment replacement and generally allows only 67% of existing fossil fuel capacity to remain. This can turn replacement of a failed furnace or boiler into a major electrical construction project. Hardy recommends restoring a permanent like-for-like pathway for equipment of the same type or greater efficiency. And no greater capacity. The council should remove the 67% conversion limit and temporary certificate and bonding requirements before adoption. And then third, Section 503.5 applies a similar conversion structure to commercial water heating. High demand buildings may require additional storage, electrical capacity, piping installation time simply to restore hot water service. And I'll go ahead and say that my fourth comment, 404, is similar in that manner. So Hardy really recommends preserving a permanent like-for-like water heater and HVAC replacement, and eliminating any requirement for a second conversion project after emergency replacement. These revisions would protect building owner choice, reduce unnecessary cost and delay, and give distributors and contractors rules they can implement reliably. I appreciate your time today and consideration.
Thank you. All right, next up in person, I have Richard Crooks.
Hello, my name is Richard Crooks. I'm the Executive Director of the Washington State Conference of Mason Contractors. The members of our conference are highly experienced contractors who build a significant portion of the masonry work in Washington State. Our members have decades of experience constructing high-quality commercial, municipal, and industrial masonry structures with highly skilled union labor. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to the council today about the proposed change to the current energy code, Proposal 264, specifically Table 402.1.3, and the elimination of the footnote C. This change would have a significant impact on the many manufacturers, distributors, contractors, bricklayers, laborers, and hot tenders in our state, 12 of whom are here today. It would also affect business owners and ultimately their customers who depend on cost-effective single-wide concrete masonry construction. Concrete masonry offers a practical, common-sense alternative to materials and finishes that are often more costly and much less durable. Single-width insulated, reinforced concrete masonry walls offer clear benefits. One CMU wall serves as both structure and finish while providing one of the most fire, rot, and mold-resistant wall systems available. The proposed code change would prevent building owners from using a single 8-inch concrete masonry wall exposed on both sides, with a durable hard surface finish on one side and an attractive architectural finish on the other. To achieve the same durability and appearance, owners would have to build a double masonry wall, which would be cost prohibitive. My primary objective to removing footnote C is simple common sense. Many building types covered by the current exception require large wall openings, typically overhead doors, to move vehicles, equipment, materials, and people in and out. These openings are essential to the facility's intended use. When a 10 or 12-foot overhead door opens, even briefly, the resulting heat loss or gain can be exceeds any energy savings from the added insulation required by the proposed code change. The drive past a local tire or auto service shop shows overhead doors open at each service bay all times of the year. Warehouses likely need overhead door access for loading and unloading, and big box stores often have multiple large openings so customers can exit with their purchases. Footnote C has been characterized as a, quote, cheap workaround, end quote, but it is not. It allows building owners to construct durable, functional, efficient, and cost-effective buildings. The cost analysis required by and provided to the council will also shows that in the state's most populous areas, this proposed change would result in a negative payback. The same cost analysis also suggests that concrete masonry is widely used in Seattle, where the current code does not allow single-wide insulated CMU walls to meet the energy code requirements. That statement overlooks an important distinction. Much of this uses veneer construction over a wood or steel backup wall. In those systems, the durability and functionality of concrete masonry apply only to the exterior veneer. In summary, eliminating this code exception would permit less robust construction and encourage more low quality, less durable building practices in our state. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Next up in person, I have Adam Hutchinson.
Thank you, Chairman and council members. My name is Adam Hutchinson. I represent the Northwest Masonry Institute. Our members are mason contractors and union laborers. We also have affiliate partnerships with the producers of concrete masonry and brick and block. Together, we build concrete masonry walls for commercial buildings across the state. We are here today to oppose Proposal 264R and 256. And I would like to talk to those separately if possible. It would place masonry at a competitive disadvantage without demonstrating a corresponding improvement in the whole building energy performance. Right now, the Washington State Energy Code allows concrete masonry walls with insulation in their cores to comply, but only for certain building types. Things like those retail warehouses, gyms, water treatment facilities, and motor vehicle service centers are the places that we really see this exception being used. These are the exact kind of buildings where the owners value masonry. Why? Because it's durable, fire resistance, and low maintenance. And in our climate, adding extra layers of insulation to those walls just isn't cost effective. Proposal 264 would take away this exception entirely. Concrete masonry walls are unique. Right? They provide thermal mass, structure, fire resiliency, and durability all in one efficient system. Obviously, this isn't new, and you guys have heard about this a lot today. Past versions of the Energy Code recognize this and added Washington State specific amendments because the whole building analysis showed that it works in our climate, and it continues to show that even with new updates that we've just completed this year. And here's the key point. Nothing really has changed. Masonry still performs the same. And if anything, more studies confirm this is still a cost-effective, energy-friendliest option for these building types. Our code has already targeted exceptions for other materials. Log and solid timber walls are exempt because of their thermal mass. Wireless facilities are exempt because of insulation there isn't cost-effective. We're not asking for special treatment. We're asking the council to retain a limited and established compliance option that a lot of architects and engineers already know how to use. Unless there is evidence that removing it will produce meaningful, cost-effective energy savings. These exceptions exist to balance performance with practicality. Masonry belongs in this same category. Here's another thing that we need to consider. Washington doesn't have a compliance tool like ComCheck or ResCheck that other states continue to use. And designers are more comfortable using those tools. Until we do, designers and owners will continue to use these prescriptive paths to keep projects moving forward. Take the prescriptive option away from masonry away, and you put them at a disadvantage. Okay, and then could I talk to the next one as well?
Yes, sir.
All right. So proposal 256, or I'm sorry, 24 GP1 256 changes our U-factor requirements very little. Okay, and I understand that that's because the walls themselves actually provide very minimal gain or diminished returns once we start looking at R values greater than 10 for our wall systems. A recent study showed that masonry overall is a very efficient wall system, and the U value or U factor of our wall assemblies more than 10 really don't affect the overall energy use in our buildings. Our R factor of our wall, or our value of our wall above 10 does not really affect the energy use in our building. So these proposals both neglect to address additional sections that would be affected by this code change, and these definitely feel like an attack on the masonry industry and reduce an already small market that the masonry industry provides. For these reasons, we urge you to reject proposals 264R and 256. The existing amendments have been tested and proven and supported across multiple code cycles. And I would just appreciate all of the time and consideration you guys have given these two proposals. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up for in-person, I have Phaedra Beckert.
Good morning, Chair Byrather and council members. My name is Phaedra Beckert, and I'm the Executive Director of the Washington Solar Energy Industries Association, or WSEC. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today. I'm speaking in opposition to Proposal 24-GP-187 as it relates to the Commercial Energy Code. WSEC supports strong energy codes, and we appreciate the tremendous amount of work that has gone into this process. However, we believe that Proposal 24-GP-187 moves Washington backwards on on-site renewable energy through the RCW, even though the RCW directs the council to encourage greater use of these systems. Our concern is not with the one provision in isolation, but with the cumulative economic effect of several changes. These same concerns were submitted to the work group on economic impact, but were not addressed in the council's preliminary cost-benefit analysis and small business economic impact report. The proposal exempts sloped roofs from solar requirements, removes the rooftop solar requirement for affordable housing, and creates payment in lieu pathways that allow projects to avoid installing on-site renewable energy altogether while constructing less efficient buildings. Together, these changes reduce opportunities for Washington businesses, increase long-term energy costs for building occupants, and result in the construction of less clean energy for Washington state. WSEC surveyed our members across the state. Even using conservative estimates, we found that this proposal could result in approximately $11.8 million in lost annual revenue, 21 family wage jobs, nearly 5 megawatts of lost installed solar capacity, and about 50 fewer projects per year. Those impacts are borne primarily by Washington's small businesses and their employees. We shall submit practical amendments that preserve the council's objectives while realigning the code with legislative direction. These include maintaining solar on affordable housing, improving how renewable energy is measured, refining the slope roof exemption, and eliminating payment in lieu provisions that weaken on-site deployment. We respectfully ask the council to adopt WSEC's proposed amendments. If those amendments are not adopted, we urge the council to remove Proposal 24-GP-187 from the final CR 103. I would also like to update your spreadsheet. So number 24, we have you under John Lang. It shows support for 411-24-GP-187. And we support our proposed changes, but we actually oppose Proposal 24-GP-187. So number 24 there. So that's an opposition. So thank you for your time and consideration today. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, next I have one more registrant for the Commercial Energy Code in their online, Gregory Johnson. I'm not seeing your name in our list. If you're logged in, please use the raise hand function and I'll give you permission to unmute. All right, I'm not seeing any hands coming up. Before we transition into the Residential Energy Code, I want to run back and just, we called for Patrick Hanks. Is he in the room by chance? Nope. And then we said Amy Carpenter is registered for the 7th. So that's the end of our commercial energy code portion of the hearing. We may hear some general comments on the commercial code later on, but we're going to move on to residential energy code specifics. I have Patrick Hanks signed up for the residential energy code as well. But since he didn't stand up for that last call, I'm going to mark him down as yellow. And then next up for online testimony, I have Chell Anderson.
Thank you. Giving me the opportunity. I have a bunch of comments, and I didn't realize I could send in a bunch of options and speak for more than 3 minutes on multiple options. So I don't know if it's possible to allow me to speak on multiple issues, including the commercial energy code provisions. Is that possible?
That is possible. If you want to start with commercial stuff, I'll start adding some lines in, and if we can just let me know how this. I'll restart your timer as well, and let me get some new lines in here for the commercial code. And how many do you think you'd need as far as specific topics?
I think maybe one for the residential and one for the commercial.
Okay,
I think 6
I'll
minutes would
put
be
it in for the commercial code right now, and when you are ready.
Okay, yep, I'm ready. So some general comments about the overall codes. Last cycle, we included dozens of kind of common sense comments based on the public comment between CR 102 and CR 103. So this is a normal amount of public comment that we received. First of all, I'm Chell Anderson. I was on the Building Code Council until earlier this year, and I led the tag, the commercial energy code and the residential energy code tags that shepherded these through until recently. We'll have a bunch of good comments to make the codes better this cycle as well, and I'd suggest that once comments are received, the council members reach out to other code experts to align them with each other, as many are likely to be on similar portions of the code and have lots of interactive effects that a large group has figured out. I also wanted to thank Greg Johnson, who apparently isn't here, specifically for there's a large work group that's submitting a comment letter on C406 section, making it a lot better and more enforceable. And I wanted to share the love for him and his work on that. Specifically on C406.2.2.2 and 2.2.3 and 2.6.3, I sent in a letter earlier today on that. This is about C406 credits. They give credits for buildings that install no cooling, no heating, and no service water heating. They were included by the tag, but there were no credit values associated with that. NEA funded PNNL to put credit values in there. And after seeing the massive number of credits that they're worth, they're now primarily a vehicle for gaming the system. They need to be removed or heavily reduced or modified. I submitted a petition to eliminate all three of those. An applicant could simply find all the areas that don't have water heating, for example, a hotel lobby or a business center, get a massive amount of credits for those, and then average them with spaces that do have water heating, like hotel rooms and kitchens. And that's not the intent of the credits. That wasn't the intent of the tag, but it's how it could be used based on how it is written currently. So I recommend that is eliminated. I also support some letters sent in by Shift Zero on refinements to the commercial and residential energy codes for renewable energy modifications. I support the need for an important backstop to the ERI pathway. Right now, it gives too much credit for renewable energy. And then there's also a big loophole, and that's in the residential code. And that needs to be fixed. And there's a letter supporting that. I'm ready to move on to the residential code.
All righty. When you're ready.
Okay. So table R42.1.2, the CR 102 contains an error. The U value is listed at 0.056 for walls. This is a huge deal. This wasn't what the tag voted for, not the MVP voted for, or what the council voted for. All three of those voted for 0.045, which aligns with the model code for our 2 climate zones in Washington. The economic analysis and the energy analysis was based on 0.045 because that was what was voted into the CR 102, but it's not what showed up in the CR 102. Last cycle, something very similar happened, and the energy advancement that the council reported to the legislature was based on the 0.045 value. Last cycle, the R value was modified, but the CR 102 didn't update the U value. It was eventually updated in the CR 102, but a last minute motion left it at 0.056. It's time to align with the model code for the wall U value. This also has many downstream impacts. The ERI pathway that I mentioned earlier that already has a relaxation for the U value, UA, for buildings. The ERI pathway with this 0.056 relaxation as well, all of a sudden becomes a giveaway, and the entire residential code is going backwards, which the legislature is not would not be happy about the council doing, and it doesn't align us on the path to getting to the 70% energy reduction in the law. All modeling was done on the code was based on the 0.05045 better U value. So this throws out some of the modeling. And I want to remind everybody the tag vote for changing the U value to 0.045 was 12-0. It was unanimous because abstentions are not votes. It was 12-0. This needs to be fixed by the time the CR 103 comes out. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chilp. Next up online, Deepa Sivarajan.
Thank you, Deepa Sivarajan, again, Local Policy Director at Climate Solutions. Climate Solutions supports residential proposal 19 that encourages replacing central ducted air conditioner systems with heat pumps when they fail, which is at the time when it is most cost-effective and easiest for existing homes to make this transition. Heat pumps can easily replace central AC units of the same size and capacity without requiring electrical upgrades or other expenses. Replacing air conditioners at the time that they stop working ensures that homeowners are getting the best life out of their appliances and transitioning to clean energy. The replacement heat pumps can then also provide heating support during the winter, lowering energy usage since heat pumps are much more efficient than gas furnaces. Please pass Proposal 19.
Thank you. Next up online, I have Johnny Kochar.
Hi there. Chatting about a few different things today. First is R404.5, which is the electric readiness proposal. I'm sorry, with Rocky Mountain Institute. So yeah, we support the R404.5. This would require electric readiness for new construction homes that decide not to install electric technologies for heating or water heating or for cooking dryers. Over the course of the lifetime of a building, having those circuits and conduits available as well as the panel size correctly heavily will reduce the cost of switching to efficient technologies such as heat pumps, heat pump water heaters, induction stoves, and heat pump dryers. It's most cost effective to be installing these when the building is first built and not have to come in later and do punctures and trying to install conduits throughout the building. As well as potentially having to upsize the electrical panel if it wasn't sized correctly to begin with, or having to add circuits to a breaker panel that might already be full. Yeah, so I think that this over the lifetime of the building is shown to be cost effective, as included in the cost effectiveness analysis. Moving on to the R503. This is for residential ACD heat pump proposal submitted by the Sierra Club. Similar to the commercial code I spoke about earlier, this language is adapted from the California Title 24 code from the 2025 version of the code. When air conditioners break, it is the most cost-effective time to switch to more efficient heating technology such as heat pumps, which have lower energy use intensities, which saves Washingtonians energy as well as reduce cost due to the low cost of electricity in the state of Washington. Encouraging it when equipment is naturally breaking is a very smart and good way of getting these technologies put inside buildings. There are, contrary to some comments that were made earlier, there are still pathways for natural gas appliances to be installed. Should someone would like to do that, both on the commercial side and on the residential side, you just have to save the same amount of energy as a heat pump would. So there are still prescriptive pathway options for both the commercial rooftop unit ACD heat pump as well as for the residential ACD heat pump sections. And yeah, finally, just would like to encourage the council to correct that error in the envelope that was submitted at the CR 102. That's not great that it was included, and it's clearly not reflective of what happened at the tag or MVP. Thank you.
All righty. Do you need more slots for the proposal numbers there?
Those are those are the same as the sections I just spoke about. Appreciate you.
All right. Next up in person, Jason Hewitt.
I already said pretty much what I needed to say during the commercial. I wasn't aware that we were able to speak on different things as well. Otherwise, I would have organized my stuff differently.
Okay. Thank you. Next up, Deepa Sivarajan. Oh,
You're interested in something.
when you're ready.
Thank you, Deepa Sivarajan again, Climate Solutions. We are in support of Proposal 18 in the Residential Code. Currently, it can be very expensive in existing buildings to install an electric appliance where a gas appliance was previously, because many homes and buildings don't have the electrical infrastructure in place to support the electric appliances. Proposal 18 requires that each fossil fuel water heater, dryer, or cooking appliance in new homes will have a branch circuit sized for a future electric version of the appliance, as well as dedicated space on the main electrical panel, so that fossil fuel appliances installed now can be replaced with highly efficient electric appliances in the future if the homeowner or a future homeowner chooses. Electric readiness improves customer choice and customer control over their energy usage and indoor air quality, given that fossil gas cooking appliances emit nitrogen oxides, carbon monoxide, fine particulate matter, ultrafine particles, and formaldehyde, which pollute our indoor air and can make us sick. Please pass Proposal 18.
Thank you. Next up, I have John Lang in person.
Real quick, you update my subject line here to table R402.1.2, and be speaking to the same thing Chell was referencing as well.
Okay.
Just supporting the correction of table R402.1.2 that raises the above grade wall U factor from 0.056 to 0.045, which appears to have been omitted. As a member of the Energy Code tag who participated in the discussions and debates on this section, I expected this update to be included. The revised U factor was agreed upon through the tag process and reviewed by the tag, MVPE, and council during the code cycle. Reaching that requirement required significant volunteer time, technical analysis, and collaboration among stakeholders to develop a balanced recommendation. Including this update would align Washington's above-grade wall U factor with the 2021 and 2024 IECC requirements for Climate Zone 5 and Marine 4, while helping maintain consistency across all compliance pathways. Consistent U factor and R value requirements keep a strong thermal envelope at the center of residential energy efficiency, regardless of the compliance method selected. That consistency supports Washington's climate goals while helping protect homeowners from future energy cost increases. For these reasons, I respectfully urge the council to include the agreed upon above grade wall U factor update in table R402.1.2. Doing so honors the technical work completed through the tag process and supports more energy efficient, comfortable, and resilient homes for Washington residents. Thanks. And I also just wanted to make sure that Phaedra's testimony was labeled correctly in opposition. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Next up, we have Zach Johnson.
Hello, and similar to a commercial, I can lump all these in a single 3 minutes.
Gotcha.
All right. Good morning. My name is Zach Johnson. I'm Senior Policy Lead for Heating, Air Conditioning, and Refrigeration Distributors International. Hardy represents the wholesale distributors that supply HVACR and water heating equipment to contractors. Our members maintain the local Washington equipment inventory and technical support contractors rely on when equipment fails. Certain provisions proposed will fundamentally affect Washington's residential replacement market by making straightforward like-for-like installations much more difficult. This disrupts distributors and contractors' daily service operations while placing substantial added costs and delays on homeowners who often need heating or cooling restored immediately. Therefore, we are opposed. Hardy supports improved residential efficiency and recognizes heat pumps as an important option. Our concern is that the three proposed provisions make other federally compliant choices more costly or difficult for homeowners. First, Section 503.1.2.5 requires a homeowner replacing a ducted air conditioner to either install a heat pump as the primary heating source or complete additional ceiling, plane, air sealing, and duct work to install another air conditioner. That can turn a routine or emergency replacement into an attic and envelope project, adding cost and delaying restored cooling. Hardy recommends allowing replacement air conditioners that meet applicable efficiency requirements without mandatory heat pump installation or unrelated building work. At a minimum, the council should provide clear exceptions for emergencies, inaccessible systems, and technical infeasibility to the equipment replacement. Second, Table R406.2 awards only 1.5 credits to a dual fuel heat pump with gas furnace backup, compared to 3 credits for a heat pump using electric resistance backup. Both begin with a heat pump, yet the dual fuel home must purchase additional efficiency measures elsewhere. Hardy recommends basing these credits on verified Washington-specific energy performance and removing the 1.5 credit disadvantage unless the difference reflects demonstrated energy savings. Third, Section R404.5 requires electrical panel capacity circuits, wiring, and space for future electric appliances, even when the homeowner has selected fuel-fired equipment. This infrastructure does not reduce the home's current energy use, and some homeowners may never even use it. Hardy recommends making electrical readiness optional or providing a straightforward alternative-based pathway on the appliances the homeowner actually selects and plans to use. These targeted changes would protect consumer choice, control costs, and give contractors and distributors requirements they can implement reliably. Washington can improve efficiency without making compliant equipment economically impractical. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next up, I have Greg Johnson again, but I'm not seeing him online. Greg, if you're online, please use the raise hand. No hands coming up. Next up, we have Jim Lazar. We got some communication this morning that he's going to provide written testimony instead of the oral testimony. And so that concludes our dedicated residential energy code registrations. And we're now moving to registrants that didn't indicate which code they were proposing to speak on. And so we're moving into general energy code comments. And first up, I have Martin Gibbons online. If you could use the raise hand function to help me find you. All right, Martin, when you are ready, go ahead.
I am Martin Gibbons, Climate Change and Energy Issue Chair for the League of Women Voters of Washington, speaking today for the over 3,000 League members in Washington. I base my testimony in general support for the Residential Commercial Energy Code revisions. Support is based on League positions that reflect careful study of issues covering healthcare, justice, energy, and climate. The League of Women Voters of Washington supports the building codes that move us toward clean energy, especially when we can reduce air pollution inside residences and buildings by eliminating burning of fossil fuels. We know that such pollution harms health, especially for our children. Our members understand that the increasing disruption of climate change is a threat to good governance and opportunity equality for our citizens and residents. Therefore, we urge the Council to pass the Energy Code proposals from the Technical Advisory Group and the Mechanical, Ventilation, Plumbing, and Energy Committee that move our state towards removing fossil fuels from buildings. In addition to improving health expectations, electrification enables moving our economy towards renewable energy and more efficient appliances. This also makes progress toward reducing our contribution to climate warming pollution as required by our law. We must make many changes to achieve this objective, including the revisions considered here. Climate warming pollution from our buildings and housing is second only to our transportation infrastructure. For over half a century, we have required our automobiles and trucks to become safer, more efficient, and less polluting. This has benefited everyone. We must continue to improve our homes and buildings in the same direction. We have the technology now to make these improvements, such as highly efficient and capable heat pumps. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you. Next up online, I have Mark Road.
Good morning. I am Mark Rody. I'm representing more than a dozen statewide chapters of Citizens Climate Lobby. And yes, as our name suggests, I might want to talk about the climate. But no, today I'm more concerned about economics, and I'm very concerned about our power supply. We're all feeling the cost of electricity. Businesses are watching operating expenses, perhaps more now than ever. And at the same time, our state is growing, electrical demand is rising, available hydropower has been trending downward now for decades, and our power grid is under more pressure, perhaps more than ever. This one you know well. The cheapest kilowatt hour is the one that we never have to generate. That's why the decisions that you make matter. Good building codes don't just make our living environment more comfortable, they reduce demand for the life of the building. Every efficient building becomes a permanent energy resource that doesn't require new generation, new high voltage power lines, or higher utility bills. Now, my perspective may be a bit unusual. I was a campus organizer during the first Earth Day. That was 1970. I've had the privilege of watching our country accomplish absolutely remarkable things: cleaner air, cleaner water, the creation of the EPA, and technologies that once seemed impossible are now common. Back then, people joked that environmentalists wanted everyone to live in caves. Instead, we've built better homes, better cars, and crazy amazing technologies. Today, we have to have the opportunity to build much smarter, not by asking people to sacrifice comfort, but by helping them use less energy while getting the same or better results. The recommendations from the technical advisory groups are practical, technologically sound, and economically responsible. They help people save money. They strengthen our electrical system. And they prepare Washington for a future that we all want to live in. Please adopt the technical advisory group's recommendations. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up online, I have Donna Albert.
Hi, this is Donna Albert. I live in the city of Montesano. I speak in the general public interest based on my experience of 27 years in design and construction of public buildings for the state of Washington and energy retrofits. I support the WSEC comments. Please maximize electrification of natural gas uses. I suggest more stringent requirements for single-wide masonry. Please also consider Chell Anderson's insights. And just a bit about the importance of transitioning our public infrastructure on the small scale. When a furnace or a water heater fails, homeowners and commercial building owners are under pressure to make a quick capital investment, often with little information. The moment at which that water heater, that old furnace or leaky water heater must be replaced, that is when updating our energy infrastructure is most economical. This draft update to the energy code makes the best use of that capital investment. Energy efficiency, especially heat pump technology, is an investment that always pays off. As we pass 1.5 degrees of warming, we are seeing unprecedented flooding and fires right here in Washington state. This is real right now for people in our state. Thank you for providing practical code options that will also avoid future climate losses. Each equipment replacement in every building in Washington and every new building is an opportunity we cannot afford to miss. Thank you so much for your work.
Thank you. Next online, I have Rich Vogt.
My name is Rich Vogt. I am a member of both Climate Solutions and the Sierra Club. I am in favor of all the proposals. The worst day of my life was when our daughter died. I don't wish that pain on any parent, and yet it is children and seniors who die in heat waves. Climate change is only going to make killer heat waves longer and stronger. The State Building Code Council, as a state agency, should be making decisions that complement and not contradict current Washington state legislation that has mandated climate and energy efficiency targets. One mandated target is that Washington is required by law to reduce greenhouse gas emissions 95% by 2050. Another is to achieve a 70% reduction in fossil fuel energy use by 2031. Please pass all the code proposals which will move our state closer to those targets, thereby reducing the number of future climate-related deaths. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Next, in person, Ann Shields.
I'm Ann Shields. I'm here on behalf of the Power Up group, Power Up team at Third Act Washington. We're a statewide group that is mostly retired. We include architects, former solar consultants and installers, and a lot of folks knowledgeable about our state's challenges in expanding distributed clean energy resources. And we work very closely with Climate Solutions and also with WSEC. So I'm here to speak in a general way and express our concerns and our support. The SBCC should pass all proposals forwarded that build upon improvements in efficiency, except for those pertaining to on-site renewable energy requirements in section C411. We need to always couple building efficiencies with renewable energy options, as our legislators have directed the council to do. This protects owners from costly retrofits in the future. And we all know that construction costs are only going up. So without on-site renewable energy requirements, we are very much at risk of further reductions in rooftop solar deployment when we can least afford it. It will also increase the cost and rate of adoption for energy resources like meter collars for the EVs we need to see more of in the future. So these options are significantly less expensive to install during new construction. So building without consideration for expanding use of solar energy is only going to create higher costs for Washington residents and for over many decades. Finally, we should not exempt affordable housing from renewable energy requirements. Installing solar during construction is the lowest cost opportunity to help reduce long-term operating expenses. As someone who formerly worked in affordable housing, our lower income residents and that group of mostly nonprofit housing providers should be able to see the same benefits as other residents of our state. We all deserve lower utility bills in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next online, I have a registrant, Janet Nazy. I'm not seeing your name. If you're online, please use the raise hand function. All right. I have you, Janet. If you're ready, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Janet Nazy, and I am the Executive Director of the Thurston Climate Action Team, TCAT. Please pass all of the proposals. TCAT currently has a program giving portable heat pumps to low-income renters 65 years of age or older in Thurston County. When I talk to our recipients, I hear their fear over increasing temperatures and wildfire smoke, like we are experiencing today. The heat pumps are a lifesaver for them. Washington State must do everything possible to lower greenhouse gas emissions so that we can protect the most vulnerable in our communities and have a cleaner, safer, and more affordable future for all of our citizens. Please pass all of the code proposals. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, I have online Kathleen Petrie.
Yeah.
When you're ready. Oh, I'm sorry, Kathleen. One second. I hit a button. Kathleen, you should be able to, there you go. Sorry about that.
Yeah. How's that work?
I hear you now.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hello, my name is Kathleen Petrie, and I'm speaking on behalf of King County. My role is the community-wide green building program manager at the county, and I appreciate the opportunity to testify today. The county supports strong support for the approval of the CR 102s before us. King County is committed to supporting policies that promote equity, reduce energy, emissions, and waste in our built environment. The county's strategic climate action plan, approved by council in 2025, identifies energy codes as a high area of focus. Energy efficient buildings are more resilient in the face of climate change. Highly insulated buildings do a far better job at maintaining habitable temperatures, helping to keep building occupants safe during extreme weather conditions, which are increasing in frequency and severity as we are all experiencing this week. More efficient buildings have lower energy costs, making them cheaper to operate for our residents, small commercial businesses, and all. Strong energy codes complement Washington's existing policies and initiatives, including the Clean Buildings Performance Act and Washington's recent joining of the NESCOM's multi-state commitment. Strong energy codes are in alignment with multiple priority actions within the King County Strategic Climate Action Plan, including, and I'm just going to rattle these off, GHG 25, defending and strengthening initiatives and regulations at the federal, state, and local levels to advance clean electricity and reduce fossil fuel use. GHG 26, advocating for state or regional adoption of a zero-emission appliance standard. GHG 33, developing regional green building codes, which we are actively doing in partnership with jurisdictions, industries, and our community. So this is the county's commitment. And so approving the adoption of these amendments will ensure that we can comply and meet the targets of the laws, commitments, and goals set forth by the state and local governments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kathleen. Next up online, I have Don Stinky. I don't see you online. If you can use the raise hand function, I will allow you to unmute. All right, not seeing any hands coming up. In person next, I have Lon Dickerson. And when you're ready.
Good morning. My name is Lon Dickerson, and I live in Lacey. I'm here on behalf of my 6-year-old great-granddaughter who lives in Tumwater. I wore a mask while driving here this morning because of the poor air quality. I hope the proposed amendments will help reduce the number and threats of wildfires in Washington, as well as greenhouse gas emissions. I support all of the proposed amendments to the residential and commercial energy code, and I urge the council to adopt them. Thank you for hearing me, and thank you for your efforts to enhance ARIA's quality of life.
Thank you. Next up online, I have Caitlin Kren. You should be able to unmute, Caitlin.
Hey there.
And when you're ready.
Good morning.
We hear you.
Oh, thank you. I'm not sure what's happening with my camera, but that is all right. Good morning. My name is Caitlin Kren. I'm here representing Washington Conservation Action. Washington Conservation Action, formerly known as Washington Environmental Council, has been a leading policy voice for the environment in our state for nearly 60 years. We develop, advocate, and defend policies that advance environmental progress and justice. We appreciate the opportunity to provide comments on the proposed updates to the Washington State commercial and residential energy codes. We actively supported passage of the 2021 Energy Code and adopted in 2022, and now support all proposals for the 2024 Energy Code, both commercial and residential, put forward by the TAGs and the Mechanical, Ventilation, Plumbing, and Energy Codes Committee. These changes will improve energy efficiency, protect affordability, and enable the state code to meet requirements under our law. For example, Proposal 209 incentivizes replacing small rooftop air conditioners on commercial buildings with heat pumps at time of failure. This will enable building owners to make full use of the equipment during its useful life and upgrade to appliances that provide more efficient cooling, along with the new additional benefit of heating at the time of replacement. Similarly, Proposals 267 and 270 incentivize replacing HVAC and water heating equipment with heat pumps when they fail. Proposal 268 requires right-sizing heat pump water heaters in new buildings. Proposal 263 requires commercial kitchens with gas-fired cooking equipment in new buildings to provide a full electrical power supply and panel to the kitchen to give business owners more choices should they choose to install efficient electric appliances in the future. Together, these updates and the others proposed will enable timely, incremental progress toward our 2031 code requirements as the law requires, and do so in a way that protects families, businesses, prioritizes cost-effective measures and affordable utility bills, and advances energy efficiency for the benefit of all Washingtonians. Thank you for your consideration and for all your work to update the codes.
Thank you. Next online, I have Deepa Sivarajan.
Thank you. Deepa Sivarajan, Local Policy Director at Climate Solutions, with my last comment for today. Thank you for your time. Along with all of the individual proposals that I have testified on today, Climate Solutions is supportive of the full suite of commercial and residential energy code proposals that were forwarded by the TAGs and the MVPE committee. These proposals together help move the code closer to meeting the 70% energy use reduction by the 2031 code that is required by the legislature. These proposals are also important to the thousands of Washingtonians that signed onto petitions created by Climate Solutions, the Sierra Club, Earth Justice, and 350 in support of the full suite of proposals. Those petitions are being submitted to the SBCC this week. At a time when wildfires are rampaging through central and eastern Washington and sending smoke to the rest of the state, these Washington residents know that the proposals are crucial in terms of reducing energy waste and encouraging the use of highly efficient appliances like heat pumps, which also use clean, safe electricity instead of dirty fossil fuels. The only way to meet both the climate crisis and the affordability crisis is to make the investments in highly efficient heat pumps when new buildings are constructed or when existing appliances fail, future-proofing our buildings and making them safer and cleaner for owners and tenants. I've already mentioned why these proposals are so urgent for me as someone with long COVID, which is a chronic illness that disabled me 4 years ago and makes me particularly sensitive to heat and smoke. But it's not just me. All Washingtonians, including the thousands that signed our petitions, deserve to live with clean air, energy bills that are not only low, but not subject to spikes when it's harder to import fossil fuels, and without fear of natural disasters that can sicken, displace, and kill us. This suite of codes helps us get closer to that reality. Please pass the full suite of proposals for a cleaner, safer, more affordable, and more livable Washington. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up online, Ben Roosh.
Thank you, Roush. You can hear me, right?
Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. I'm ready to go.
All right, when you're ready.
All right, my name is Ben Roush. I am a principal at FSI Engineers. We are a mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and fire protection engineering firm designing commercial projects. I've had a long history with the state of Washington State Energy Codes going back to the 2006 code cycle. And it's been interesting and sometimes in the design community challenging. But equipment manufacturers always seem to catch up by the end of the code cycle. So I'm here to speak in favor of Proposal 209 and Proposal 263. So Proposal 209 to require air conditioning units of various sizes and shapes and form factors to be replaced with heat pumps. It is a very nominal, very small added cost when you're already replacing that AC unit to make it a heat pump. It allows flexibility in the fuel you choose. You've heard about, fluctuating gas prices in other testimony. So you can choose to heat with electric for much of the year. They work, they blow hot air, They work in all climates in Washington State, and they come in form factors from extremely small residential scale all the way up to very, very large commercial scale. So as AC is replaced with heat pump, I encourage passing that forward. Proposal 263 requires commercial kitchens with gas-fired cooking equipment at the time of their construction in new buildings to provide full electrical power to electrify that equipment in the future. We've had a few chefs that we have worked with who have already made the electrical jump. Their kitchen is quieter, their kitchen is less warm, their kitchen has more precise control with things like induction burners. And this is a once in the life of that kitchen opportunity to future-proof that kitchen for making that switch over. Once it's built, once the electrical capacity is sized, you have built in a capacity limit that you can't get over. It is a nominal cost to add the capacity up front. I encourage passing that forward. Thank you for considering those.
Thank you. All right, next up online, Joseph Swaja. Sorry if I butchered that, but I'm not seeing the name online. So Joseph, if you are with us, please use the raise hand function. I'll allow you to unmute. All right, not seeing any hands come up. We will call those again later. All right, next up in person, Carolyn Logue.
Thank you, members of the council. My name is Carolyn Logue. I'm here today representing 3 organizations, all of whom that have submitted written comments separately, but are directly affected by these codes. The Washington Air Conditioning Contractors Association, which represents HVAC contractors, suppliers, and distributors. ABC Inland Pacific, which represents general and specialty contractors, suppliers, and construction employers across Eastern Washington. And the Northwest Hearth Patio and Barbecue Association, representing manufacturers, distributors, retailers, and installers of hearth products. All of these organizations support energy efficiency, but the 2024 Energy Code continues a march towards electrification that ignores the reality that in order to keep housing affordable and also provide the flexibility for homes to be a refuge during both heat waves, deep freezes, windstorms, and floods, and the other realities of climate change in Washington state. We need to make sure that we have fuel redundancy. We hear all the time about our grid not being able to sustain this, yet we continue to push towards electrical installations and conversions. For Washington ACA, I think I'm just going to bring up the biggest concern right now for them, which is, of course, the requirement to replace failed residential air conditioning to mandatory heat pump conversions, or a package of unrelated ceiling and ductwork. That really does increase the cost, makes it much harder to get this done. And I can assure you right now, having a place over in Eastern Washington and seeing what's going on, if my AC went out over there right now, I would want this to be very quickly just replaced. It also ignores the fact that you are once again then providing maybe perhaps unnecessary heating situations that are working already efficiently in that home, and also ignoring the fact that the AC can be turned on and off based on temperature and need. In addition, I'm not even going to go through and list all the codes because we've got that in writing. For ABC Inland Pacific, once again, the emphasis in C406.1 that imposes higher credit totals on several climate zone 5B occupancies than are in 4C puts extra pressure on Eastern Washington. We need to make sure there's transparent modeling. We need to adopt the lowest totals needed to meet the statutory targets. Eastern Washington should not carry any extra burden simply because of their geography. The needs are very different over there. They need flexibility. There needs to be some way to make sure that we can adjust and adapt the codes to climate change as well. And for the Northwest Hearth Patio and Barbecue Association, an emphasis once again that the move towards electrification and fully electrifying homes, if you're not looking at energy efficiency as the goal, if you're just going at electrification, ignores the fact that when it's not heat, when it's not summer, that people actually need their homes to be refuges during time of cold and during time when power is needed, and they need alternative means to do that built into the home and allowed in the home without it being expensive. In addition, because of the fires from on behalf of Eastern Washington, you should set this aside and have another hearing over there at another time.
Thank you. Next, online, Brett Conway. I'm not seeing you registered as far as a name on here. If you're online, please raise your hand. Not seeing any hands come up. Next, in person, Mallory Davies.
All right. Good morning, Chair and members of the council. My name is Mallory Davies, and I am the State Regulatory and Policy Coordinator for the Washington and Northern Idaho District Council of Laborers. We represent over 12,000 members who are homeowners in Washington State, small business owners, and are part of the workforce who are directly impacted by the proposed code changes. I want to focus not on any single code selection, but on the process that has produced this entire package. When this CR 102 was filed, significant parts of it were still being written. The PNNL Technical Working Group has continued to develop and revise substantive technical language after the comment period had opened. These changes are not typos or formatting fixes, but real changes to the compliance pathways, credit structures, and requirements that affect the cost and feasibility, all of which will have a direct impact on myself, not only as a homeowner, but it will impact the industry that I work in as well. Washington's Administrative Procedures Act exists so that the public can comment on the actual rule an agency intends to adopt. By not having the changes formalized, we as the public are commenting on a moving target. RCW 3405, 320, and 325 guarantee notice and a meaningful opportunity to be heard. When the substance of a proposal continues to change after the publication, that guarantee becomes hollow because not everybody can give an informed testimony on language that didn't exist when the clock started. This is notwithstanding the changes that have been made within the technical advisory group, closing working meetings to public comment as well. This isn't about whether any of us agrees or disagrees with the underlying policy. It's about whether the record this council builds its decision on is complete. And right now it's not. My request here is simple, and it is the same request that's been running through every letter in this record. Don't adopt a package that is still being written while the public is commenting on it. Finish the technical working group's work, publish the complete rule text, and reissue a new CR 102 with a full comment period so that the final code can rest on record and everyone actually has the chance to review. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, in person, John Collins. And when you're ready.
Yes. Good morning, Chair and members of the council. My name is John Collins. While I work as an organizer for Washington and Northern Idaho District Council of Laborers, I'm here addressing you as a citizen of Washington State, where I live in Pierce County. I'm here today because of several provisions in the CR 102 do not read like energy efficient standards. They read like a ban on natural gas. Proposals like 24-GP1-209 and 24-GP1-267 require heat pumps as primary heating sources when it comes to commercial HVAC equipment. Is replaced, and they attach to steep penalties to anyone who wants to keep functioning federally compliant gas systems. The same patterns show up in water heating under 24-G1-270. And again, in cooking equipment under 24-GP1-263, which requires businesses to install electrical infrastructure they will never use. This isn't technology, natural performance standards. It's a technology mandate wearing efficient labels. Council members have acknowledged on the record that some of those credits structures were built to favor one technology over another. Not to hit our legislative efficiency targets, the emission alone should give this council a pause. The practical efforts fall hardest on restaurants, hotels, healthcare facilities, and manufacturers who depend on gas for reliability and operational flexibilities, and it raises real questions about conflict with the Federal Energy Policies and Conservation Act, which permits states from regulatory and federal covered appliances themselves. This practice effectively will impact my daily life, from what businesses are able to afford to stay open, and to potential jobs and tax references that may be impacted from the inability to make the decisions. Conversations.
If you can wrap up in one last statement.
Okay. I don't think I have enough time to wrap up on one.
Okay. If you want to, if you have that in a script form and you can submit that, we can add that to the record as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up in person, Connie Rodriguez.
Good morning, Chair and members of the council. My name is Connie Rodriguez, and I work as an organizer for the Washington and Northern Idaho District Council of Laborers. I'm here speaking to you today as a citizen of Washington State who resides in Pierce County. I'm also a proud member of Laborers Local 252. I'm here to talk about what this code does to concrete masonry construction. Proposals 24 DP 264R and 256 would effectively disqualify CMU block from being treated as a mass wall, even though CMU has been one of the most durable, fire-resistant, and cost-effective mass wall assemblies used in Washington for decades. This isn't a minor technical adjustment. It's a change that could sideline an entire building material and the trades built around it. Masons, block manufacturers, and the contractors who specify CMU for schools, warehouses, multifamily buildings, and commercial cores. And it's happening without clear scientific justification for why an assembly that has performed reliably for generations suddenly no longer qualifies. When you remove a proven affordable structural option from the table, you don't just raise costs, you're narrowing the number of ways a builder can meet code at all. That drives up commercial construction costs, and it's a state of, this is a state already that we're struggling with housing and commercial affordability, as well as the need for jobs. This really matters. I'm asking the council to take the same approach here that other stakeholders have asked for elsewhere in this code. Don't finalize a provision that eliminates a proven building method based on incomplete technical analysis. Send 264R and 256 back. Complete the engineering review and let masonry compete on a fair science-based standard.
1 minute.
As part of a revised package that gives everyone, including the masonry industry, a real change to wade in. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up in person, Micah Stoin.
All right. Good morning, Chair and members of the council. My name is Micah Stoin, and while I work as an organizer for the Washington and Northern Idaho District Council of Laborers, I am speaking to you today as a citizen of Washington State who resides in Snohomish County. So I want to talk to you about what happens the day a water heater or a rooftop unit fails in an existing building. For decades, a business owner could replace that equipment with something comparable and get back to business. Under several proposals in the CR-102, that same repair can now trigger a heat pump mandate, a larger electrical service, new panels, new engineering, and an expanded permitting process. This is turning a routine repair into a major capital project overnight. That matters because equipment doesn't fail on a schedule. When a restaurant's water heater goes down or a healthcare facility's HVAC system fails in August, every day of delay is lost revenue, disrupted patient care, or a closed dining room. Requiring a full system redesign in that moment doesn't improve building efficiency. The building is already there. All it does is make the failure more expensive and the downtime longer. This falls hardest on the small businesses and building owners who don't have the capital reserves to absorb an unplanned electrical upgrade on top of a routine repair. The kind of businesses that prop up and are an integral part of this community. Like everyone who has testified today, I am not asking the council to abandon its efficiency goals. We are asking you to finish this piece of work the same way. Restore the ability to replace like-for-like equipment during failures and alterations, fix the credit and penalty structure driving this problem, and bring the corrected language back as one complete package for the public to review before it's adopted. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next up in person, Scott Rockwell.
Hey, good morning, Chair and members of the council. My name is Scott Rockwell, and I work as a organizer for Washington and Northern Idaho District Council of Laborers. I'm speaking to you today as a citizen of Washington State who resides in Snohomish County. I'm asking the council to look closely at how this code lands differently east of the Cascades than it does west of them. Eastern Washington sees colder winters, hotter summers, and a far more constrained electric grid than the I-5 corridor. Yet the commercial energy credit requirements in this proposal ask projects across the state to hit the same targets regardless of climate zone and grid capacity. In practice, that means an Eastern Washington project often has to buy a more expensive compliance package with more mechanical capacity, more envelope upgrades, more electrical infrastructure, all to reach the same credit score as a Western Washington project reaches more cheaply, simply because of where it is on the map. Add mandates and push more heating and water heating load onto electric grid, and you're asking rural and smaller utilities with less headroom to absorb demand that coastal utilities are far better positioned to handle. That's not a hypothetical concern. It's a cost and reliability burden that falls unevenly on businesses, schools, and hospitals east of the mountains, the same communities that are already facing longer supply chains and thinner construction markets. Taking into consideration the horrific scenes that are coming from this wildfire season. These proposed changes will have a dire impact on those looking to rebuild their lives. I'm not asking the council to write two different codes. I'm asking you to finish the modeling work needed to get this right for both sides of the state. Correct the credit structure so it doesn't penalize Eastern Washington by geography, and bring back one complete statewide package that actually works everywhere it applies. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up online, I have Julia reading. And if you want to go ahead and unmute Julia, I'll start when you start. Julia, I'm not showing you as unmuted. If you use the unmute button, it should be up at the top of your screen, or sorry, at the bottom. There you go, Julia. We should be able to hear you now.
Okay, thank you. My name is Julia Rytan. I live in Seattle, and I have both a heat pump and an all-electric appliances, including an induction cooktop, which is awesome. Heat pumps and induction cooking really are the future.
Oh, I'm sorry, Julia, I messed you up.
Thank you.
Okay, am I back?
You're back. I'm sorry.
I urge you to pass all the proposals forwarded by the Technical Advisory Group and the MVPE Committee for Energy Code. I'd like to highlight, in particular, replacing failed air conditioning units with heat pumps as the most economically advantageous opportunity to begin transitioning existing residential and commercial buildings to all electric, which most importantly can help meet our climate goals. I also want to highlight making residential buildings electric ready, even if gas appliances are still allowed, which they are. It is crucial to make buildings electric ready because we now know that gas appliances emit indoor air pollutants that can lead to respiratory health issues, including asthma, which is a serious concern for many children. As the hidden danger of gas appliances become more well known, owners need the option to cost-effectively switch to healthier electric appliances. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next up online, Devin Kellogg. When you're ready.
Greetings, Chair and members of the Council. My name is Devin Kellogg. I'm a parent, a teacher, and a stable climate advocate, testifying in strong support of the proposed residential and commercial energy code updates. Like so many others testifying today, I'm deeply concerned about the impact of heat-trapping pollution is having on our health, environment, and way of life, and the dire outlook for our children's futures unless we rapidly change this trajectory. In my testimony today, I'd like to add the impact on the health in the home. After a slew of summers full of fire, smoke, and drought, followed by a record heat dome in 2021, when my hands and feet swelled up like balloons and I got winded just moving around my room, our family oasis nearly became a tomb. It was particularly bad when it's both hot and smoky, like today, because there's no way to cool off at night without AC. It was then my family and I pledged to electrify our home with clean, efficient heat pumps and an induction range. We have never looked back. Fortunately, as we discovered, the solutions to reducing climate pollution in our buildings also helps to alleviate the climate impacts. The clean, cool air we now experience in our home during the now seasonal heat and smoke events is literally life-saving. Plus, our appliances no longer spew toxic byproducts into our air, put us at increased risk of fire or explosion, or contribute to the warming impacts these gases are causing, the warming impacts these gases are causing, yes. But even as a highly motivated homeowner with help from our utility and the Federal Inflation Reduction Act, which is now mostly defunct, the path away from using methane gas was not easy. A reminder that energy efficient electrification is crucial to meeting our climate goals in buildings. Methane is particularly potent and impactful warming gas. This is crucial to meeting our climate goals in buildings. It was difficult to achieve this in our home without help due to the costly rewiring and retrofitting that was necessary. Building electric ready from the start is essential to making these solutions accessible to everyone and meeting our necessary climate goals. For the sake of our health, planet, and children's futures, please adopt the proposed updates in full. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up online, we have Laura Rathbone.
Okay.
When you're ready.
All right. I'm Laura Rathbone from Richland, which is part of the Tri-Cities in Southeast Washington. Our air quality today is 165 from wildfire smoke, which is unhealthy for everyone category. We are expecting temperatures again in the hundreds next week. So I'm here to ask you to please pass all of the proposals. I have worked most of my life to protect the environment for our health and for the future. Because the energy we now use to heat and cool our buildings is the fastest growing source of climate pollution in our state, these proposals will be a big step towards reducing emissions that are causing the climate crisis. One proposal will incentivize energy efficiency. For example, as we heard a lot today, electric heat pumps provide both heating and cooling, which saves money while protecting people from heat and smoke during the summer. One example, we had a summer camp and the kids had to stay inside the whole time because it's been smoky for days. So these heat pumps save money. In 2022, the Rocky Mountain Institute study showed all electric single-family homes in Seattle and Spokane cost less, both in terms of upfront costs and over a 15-year life cycle than homes with gas and water heating. So I like to stress that our priorities should be saving costs and to do what is best for our health. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that brings us to the end of our registered testifiers today. I'll run back and make a call for folks that were not here for their testimony. First up, I'll have Patrick Hanks. Is he online or in the room? Not seeing anybody there. Amy, we're going to hear on the 7th. Looking for Gregory Johnson, if you're online or in the room. Not seeing any hands, not seeing any movement in there. Next we have Don Stanky. Not seeing any hands. Joseph Swaja. Not seeing any hands. Brett Conway. Not seeing online. So with that, we're done with our registered testifiers. If they show up here throughout the rest of this hearing, they will be allowed to testify. Now we're going to open the floor to folks who did not register to testify. I would like to give priority to folks that are in the room. So if we're going to have testifiers from in the room, I would ask you to queue up there on the left-hand side of your left-hand side of the room to deliver testimony, and we first come, first serve on that. And then if there's nobody wishing to give testimony in the room, I will start making calls for folks who are online to give testimony. So I'm not seeing any movement for in-person testimony at this point. Oh, I have one person coming up. And just be sure to state for the record your name and the organization you represent, if any. And if you're speaking on specifics on the code, we would like to know if it's residential or commercial and the specific section you might be making comments on. So with that being said, please introduce yourself and we'll let you get 3 minutes.
All righty. My name is Kevin Aldridge. It's ALDRIDGE. I'm here to represent Baselite Concrete Products. No W at the end of the last name.
Oh, sorry about that.
No worries. I'm here to just be on record opposing the 24 GP1, 264, and 256 as a supplier of CMU block. The impact on our industry as a manufacturer, as well as on the masonry industry, I would strongly encourage the committee to evaluate the benefit of the energy versus the economical disadvantage. I've heard a lot of things here today about air quality and energy. CMU, brick are two great ways to eliminate and be fire safety, as well as longevity of our building materials. So I do have a written statement that I will supply to the committee, but I just wanted to be here and verbally oppose both 264 and 256. Thanks.
Thank you, Kevin. Is there anybody else in person who would like to give testimony?
Yes, please.
All right.
Hi, Lisa. So CJ Brockway, lighting designer. I really just want to thank the commission and the TAG for the work that you're doing. I really would love it if we still had Excel forms that we could use to check our design work to see how they comply with code. The online tool, I have to get the architect to fill out to get it started, or the contractor, because most jobs are design build. So the contractor is the one who's actually submitting the form. In other words, in my career in the last 5 years, I think of the 30 projects I've worked on, only 3 I've had access to on the online portal. So if you could find a way to allow us to test our work with the online portal, print something out, let's all take a look at it together instead of having to only do it through official projects that are registered online. That's my request. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Any others in person wishing to deliver testimony? All right. With that, I have a hand up online for Lisa Rosno. Uh, Give me one moment before I get you started. All right. When you're ready, Lisa. Oh, sorry. I didn't give you permission. There you go. When you're ready.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Thank you, Council, for the opportunity to make a public statement. My name is Lisa Rosano. I have a company called Evergreen Technology Consulting, and we provide technical support for the commercial provisions of the Washington State Energy Code. Part of the work that we do is we provide training, we answer technical support questions. We are responsible for the online tool that was just mentioned, and the request is duly noted. We are definitely working on something that could possibly address the request from CJ Brockway. But the reason for my public statement today is with regards to the status of the CR 102. We did submit an official public comment regarding what we've observed as errors and omissions in the CR 102 and incomplete information in the CR 102. Our concern is that because of the timing and the amount of changes that are being proposed, that the resulting CR 102 is not going to be complete. And so we are recommending that the CR 102 be reevaluated and brought back up for a second review time period, so that any of the changes that are being proposed and approved under the current CR 102 can be incorporated and create a second edition of the CR 102 versus jumping straight to the CR 103. Thanks for considering our request. We suggest looking at our letter that provides a very specific example of where the documentation is proving to be difficult to review for those of us that's what we do, is look for the changes in the code so that we can inform the industry. So if folks could take a look at our letter and see our example, hopefully it'll be clear why we feel a second round of review is warranted. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you. Next up, I have a hand from Jennifer Gilliland.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. My name is Jennifer Gilliland. I am testifying on my own behalf today, but I do work for the Seattle Department of Construction and Inspections. I just wanted to comment on two items. One was, I guess, Amendment Proposal 264 about the CMU wall exemption. I just wanted to point out, there's obviously been a lot of testimony against this particular proposal, but I just wanted to point out that Washington State is now the only state north of Arizona where you can where you can pour in insulation and CMU walls and have that be acceptable. So this proposal would finally eliminate that exception, requiring CMU walls to have the same insulating value as other mass walls, such as brick or concrete. I would point out also that Oregon's new code does not permit integral insulation CMU walls any longer, nor does California for its northern climate zones, and Seattle's never allowed it. So it is kind of inaccurate it kind of makes it the rest of the United States seems to be able to deal with this without a lot of problems. So I wanted to point that out. The other thing I wanted to point out, let's see if I can find it here. The interior lighting, the reduction of 9% for lighting reduction. That's being proposed as a result of a comprehensive study done by PNNL. The Seattle Code already includes a 5% reduction, so it's not going to be a whole lot more for us. But basically, what we're finding is that the lighting fixtures and things have advanced so much that, meeting these targets are probably not going to be as big of a deal as they maybe would have been in the past. And there are reductions. The 10% reduction is in values except for healthcare, correctional facilities, and facilities for the visually impaired. So, we're definitely trying to not require it for those folks. So I just kind of wanted to point out those two things on those two different proposals. And as I said before, I'm speaking on my own behalf. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Making a call for testimony online or in person. We have Greg Johnson with us today. Greg, we have you signed up for comments on both the energy code, commercial and residential. Which one would you like to speak to first, or do you want to cover it in one comment?
One comment, please.
All righty. Let me just go to the line where I got your name, and I will mark it down a little bit different. All right. When you're ready, Greg.
Yeah, I wanted to thank the members of this council and the SBCC staff. It's been a pleasure working closely with you guys on so many ways to improve our codes and advance energy efficiency in our state. And we should be proud to be leaders in the state of Washington. Reflecting on this code cycle, we've made some giant improvements in so many different areas, and our codes are not without flaws, but our work is not yet complete either. We still have the opportunity to fix maybe not everything, but the most impactful items before adoption. At the top of the list is housing affordability, a rising challenge. We owe it to our friends, our family, and our neighbors. And when I say neighbors, this extends well beyond the person at the end of the block. I'm talking about the single parent struggling to make ends meet while fighting to provide a better life for her kids. I'm also talking about the ALICE, or acid limited income constrained employed individual or family in our community. We have the obligation to help those most in need. And I emphasize energy efficiency and affordability are not mutually exclusive. We can accomplish both if we focus on those cost-effective measures that really improve energy efficiency. And thus, on that point, I'll be submitting several proposed changes to CR 102 that have either minimal or no impact on energy efficiency, yet will greatly improve and move the needle in terms of affordability. And we have an obligation not to make housing any more unaffordable than it already is. Next, I'd like to highlight the tragic and devastating fire that occurred in Spokane. It is truly heart-wrenching, a loss that completely upends people's lives, yet our building codes make no distinction between those who are choosing to build a custom home from those who are merely trying to replace what they've lost. The cost of complying with those current energy codes imposes an additional financial burden that is just too great for many to bear. Thus, in one of my proposals changes to CR 102, I'm requesting that some relief for fire victims, as long as they can demonstrate some improvement in energy efficiency over what they had previously had, give the building official discretion to allow construction under an earlier energy code addition. And lastly, as you're aware, I've been working in conjunction with PNNL and several others in a work group to finish that which was unfinished in the commercial energy code at the time of the CR 102. Basically, that's filling in the credit values where they were blank. While performing this work, we've uncovered quite a few gaps and errors that we've been doing our best to finish a suite of red line edits. But current sentiment is that there is just way too much that still needs addressing and further discussion. The council may need to reconvene the tag to look deeper at the commercial energy code before adoption. And that's all I had.
Thank you. All right, Lisa, I see your hand up one more time. When you're ready, Lisa.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak again. Separating my comments into two distinct items. And I do also want to thank the council for all the hard work that has gone into developing the CR 102. We recognize that the process of creating a new edition of the commercial energy code and the residential is a challenging endeavor for the State Building Code Council and council staff, and that all of us as affected stakeholders, we do wish to assist the State Building Code Council and contribute to this process as best we can, so that the document that will have a substantial impact on our industry is as clear and complete and accurate as possible. And so we do thank you for the opportunity to participate in the process. There's one specific detail I would like to call attention to, and it is with regards to section C 406.2, which is the credits table that's been mentioned in other testimony. I'd like to mention that there are 3 credits in the table currently. One is for no heating systems, no cooling systems, and no service water heating systems. Those 3 measures, based on the analysis that's being done now by the working group, really stand out as likely not being suitable as measures to include in the package for a variety of reasons. And so one of the other issues that we see with it is that there may be some confusion about what they represent and that they may be misapplied to projects, which would require, educating the jurisdiction community about what they are so that they can catch it if they're being misapplied. We really just feel that these measures should be removed from the list, and this is a part of the overall hard work that's being done by the working group who's working on the C406 package of measures. And I also would like to just thank that working group for all of their hard work to get that whole package of information complete and cross the finish line. Thanks again for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. All right. Making a call for folks who wish to deliver testimony, either in person or online. If you're online, you please use the raise hand function, and we'll give you permission to unmute. Got someone approaching the bench up there in person. All righty.
Thank you. First of all, appreciate the opportunity to go again. Carolyn Logue with the Washington Air Conditioning Contractors Association specifically. I want to bring up a problem that actually exists as the council continues to try to move towards electrification and the pushing of mini split systems, which are a very energy efficient and effective way to heat and cool a home, particularly zonal heating and cooling. At this time, the Department of Labor and Industries does not allow your HVAC 06A specialty certified electricians to do the final connections between the indoor and outdoor mini split units. That means that they have to call an additional electrician out to do that work, which increases the cost unnecessarily of those installations. As long as the council continues to push this direction, that cost cannot be done until there is also some work at some level within the council to go to L&I and ask for that to be changed. Thank you.
Thank you. Making a call for others in the room or online to deliver some testimony. All right, we're not seeing any hands popping up. Not seeing any folks standing up to come to the table. So this hearing will run till 5 p.m. today. As we experience breaks in testimony coming in, we will pause the recording. And so at this time, it's 12:19. I will pause the recording, and if you want to deliver testimony in person, let the staff know in the room. And if online, please use the raise hand function, and we will allow you to unmute after we get the recording re-established there. So pausing the recording now.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, my name is Mike Kennedy. I'm a contractor with Northwest Energy Efficiency Alliance. And I wanted to comment on the commercial code in that capacity and the residential code in my own personal capacity. Definitely wanted to thank the council and the TAG for the immense amount of time you all put in coming up with this, deliberating on it, coming up with the language and the changes, and it's an impressive amount of work. On the commercial code, I have come up with a very, I've read the code cover to cover, or the CR 102, and came up with a long list of mostly errors and omissions. This is similar to what I did last year. They range from typos and, section cross references that aren't quite correct, to language oversights, and then some bigger areas where things are a little more messed up. As an example, C503.4.7, which is a section related to the replacement of HVAC equipment. And you've gotten a few comments on it today, with people saying, well, it's going to make things hard to, what that language says. But the problem there is C503.4.7 does not, it's written like gas heat is banned, but 403 no longer bans gas heat. Or not bans it, but makes it difficult. But C403 now no longer has that. So you could just put in a gas furnace. You don't need to do any of the stuff in 503.4.7. And really what needs to happen is that whole section needs to be rewritten to kind of account for that change. So I think it's causing confusion. It definitely caused some confusion with people in the testimony today. And I will be submitting some written comments, not necessarily with all the language worked out, but at least highlighting these areas. Okay, in my personal capacity, I wanted to comment on the residential code. One change that in particular that I have a problem with is R401.1, which makes the R value and the U value paths be exclusive. If you build an assembly in your building that doesn't fit the R value path, so you have to use the U value path, with the new language, suddenly all of your assemblies have to go in the U value path. And that requires, for a lot of people, that'll require hiring an engineer. And suddenly, instead of one component, that, all 5 components get calculated. It's an increase in cost. And if the two tables, the R value and the U value, are congruent, i.e. the U values reflect the R values, there's no energy savings to that. And I feel like we're creating a thing that makes the code a little more expensive and a little harder. And I don't see a reason for it. And it's also not how the code traditionally has been interpreted. Traditionally, they were not exclusive until this last code cycle, when suddenly a mistake was made and the R value and the U value tables were out of sync. And then suddenly I was hearing from code officials that if one component went that path, they all did. And it seems like a new interpretation. And I checked with the IECC, and you can use one or the other for whichever assembly. You don't have to go all U value or all R value. So I really wish I would encourage the council to reject that change. And with the emphasis that the tables need, we need to be careful that our tables are in sync. I also wanted to comment about the change in requirements for air leakage testing providers. It's in section 402.5.1.2. There's training requirements there. And I am an air leakage provider in my little town. And I checked on what that training would cost, and it's about $1,000. And, I do 10 or 20 leakage tests a year. So I guess I really question the utility of that. I don't see the lack of training as being the biggest issue with air leakage results. I think it has more to do with, I guess, pressure to essentially cheat. But anyway, I really hope you would reevaluate that training requirement and whether that's really the best path forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Mike, before you run off, I didn't catch the organization you represent.
For the commercial comments, I'm a contractor to the Northwest Energy Efficiency Alliance, NEA.
Gotcha.
Yeah, skip the W.
Yeah, there we go.
I gotcha. All right, thank you for that. Do we have another hand up? It looks like Don, one of our registrants, is with us now. So Don, give me one moment to get to your spot here. And Don, you should be able to unmute your mic now. And when you're ready, I will start the timer.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello, I'm Don Steinke in Clark County, Vancouver, Washington. I urge you to approve all proposals that increase the efficiency of the building and reduce emissions. I'm a retired physics teacher. When I built my own house 50 years ago, I made it all electric. I installed two 200 amp panels. I made it super efficient. I installed a central heat pump system, double pane windows, fluorescent tubes, and 6-inch insulated walls. At the time we were in an energy crisis, I went to the county council to encourage them to adopt energy efficiency building codes. They should have told me about you guys so I could be engaged this way. But instead of adopting more energy efficient building codes, the PUDs went all in for nuclear power, which resulted in the largest municipal bond default in history. If we had had more energy efficient codes, that could have been avoided. Now let's do what we should have done then. I urge you to require heat pumps and that new construction be all electric ready and maximize energy efficiency. I have not examined all the 45, 50 proposals you're considering, and I wish I had known about them before today, but I'm working with the city of Vancouver on their green building code, and I'm urging them to make all new construction solar ready and EV ready, and maybe even to require solar in most cases, like they are considering in San Jose, California. Anyway, so I encourage energy efficiency and reduce emissions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, looking for any folks online who might wish to deliver testimony, use the raise hand function. And I believe the room, there's nobody in there at the moment, but we are open for testimony from the room as well. All right, well, with that, we will pause the recording once more and hold for additional testifiers to come online.
Hi, sorry, just coming back online.
All right. Just let us know when you're ready and we'll get the timer started for you.
Okay, very good. Now would be good.
Okay, when you're ready.
Great. Brett Conway, I'm an architect, and I've been on the energy and building code tag this year, and it's been great to participate in the process of the group. Thank you for that opportunity. I'm also a member of CREDA, and CREDA represents building owners and managers and developers in the multifamily, retail, and industrial space. I'd like to speak to three topics. First one is one of the code change proposals, 176, regarding triple glazing, and which requires 20% of glass to be triple glazed. And we would like for that to be considered to be moved to being an additional energy measure rather than being required, it being a tool for developers to improve their building and also receive credit for it rather than being a mandatory requirement. Additionally, tied in with the triple glazing, there are significant issues of availability, the cost of these units, as well as implications on the overall weight of this glazing and its impact into the ability to insert that into the project without undue cost burdens. The second item I'd like to mention is the economic evaluations. In the 2021 cycle and the 2024 cycle, two different measures were used to evaluate the economic impact from the code changes. And in the 2021 cycle, industrial buildings were not evaluated as their impacts to the energy code. And the impacts to industrial buildings has been significant. And so we would like for the code, SBCC to evaluate whether the code change proposals coming through have been fully vetted as it relates to both the 21 code and the 24 code as it evaluates this code change cycle. And the last point is in evaluating the code change proposals in front of the board, it would be whether the actual cost to implement the change has been evaluated against the benefit gained from said change. Some of the measures do offer significant benefits and have minimal costs, where some have significant costs with potentially very little benefit. And that metric should be included into the evaluation of some of these code change proposals. And that's all I have to comment on today. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett. All right, while we're here, is there anybody in the room or online who wishes to give testimony? If you're in the room, let our staff know. If you are online, please use the raise hand function and we'll allow you to deliver testimony. All right, looks like the room is empty and we're not seeing any hands here online. So we're going to pause the recording once more. And if you want to give some testimony, just let us know via staff in the room or via raising your hand on the Zoom platform. All righty, welcome, Patrick. We're ready for you when you are ready.
Awesome. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. Chair Byerother and members of the council, for the record, my name is Patrick Hanks, and I'm here on behalf of the Building Industry Association of Washington. We are a nonprofit trade association that represents over 8,000 member companies all across the state in every aspect of residential construction. Washington continues to face a severe housing affordability crisis. While we support cost-effective energy efficiency, we also believe energy code changes should be evaluated for its impact on housing attainability, consumer choice, and the cost of homeownership. BIW appreciates several positive changes, included in the proposed 2024 Energy Code. In particular, we support adoption of the Energy Rating Index pathway and the proposed home size credit bracket revisions. These changes improve flexibility and help reduce compliance costs while continuing to advance energy efficiency goals. We also encourage the council to adopt lower cost alternatives identified in our written comments that we will be submitting for provisions that increase construction costs, limit design flexibility, or provide limited consumer benefit. Finally, we remain concerned that the proposed code continues to impose unequal burdens based on heating fuel choice. We encourage the council to maintain a fuel-neutral approach and respect Washington voters' support for energy choice under Initiative 2066. Washington can continue improving energy efficiency while also making housing more affordable and attainable. We respectfully ask the council to retain the positive affordability improvements in this code cycle and make additional adjustments that reduce unnecessary costs and preserve consumer choice. Thank you for your time and consideration.
And Patrick, did you want to comment on any specifics within the code, or you're wrapped up for the day?
No, I'll submit specific stuff through a written comment.
All righty. Well, thank you for coming out today.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, looking for folks that are online to raise hands to provide testimony if they wish to. Or if there's anybody else in the room that wish to provide testimony, please feel to approach the table at the front. All right, not seeing anybody moving in the room and not seeing any hands online. So we're going to pause the recording until we hear from folks who wish to give testimony. And this hearing will go till 5 today.
You're muted, Dustin.
All right, I'll say that all again. We're in the last 5 minutes of our scheduled hearing time. We're going to let the last 5 minutes play out on the recording and make a last call for anybody wishing to deliver testimony in person. Please let staff know in the room or approach the table. And then online, if you wish to deliver some testimony, please use the raise hand function and we'll allow you to unmute. And until then, we'll run until 5 o'clock and then we will conclude these proceedings. Ready. This hearing is being held to consider testimony on the currently filed proposals for WAC 5111C, the 2024 Washington State Energy Code commercial provisions, and WAC 5111R 2024 Washington State Energy Code residential provisions. All testimony presented at this hearing, along with all written comments received today, will be part of the official hearing record for this code-making proposal. A final decision on adopting this rule proposal will be made on September 25th, 2026. On behalf of the SBCC, thank you for participating in this hearing. This hearing stands adjourned at 5 p.m. Thank you.